Hey, Chandler here, CEO and founder of Self-Publishing School. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to publish a book. So 12 steps that you should take to publish your book successfully. So first things first, this video is kind of meant to be a 10,000 foot view of the entire publishing process. We've got some really good steps here that you can take. And then we've also got kind of some individual videos and blog posts that go deeper on each step of the process. But let's get started with step number one. So step number one is to decide why you want to write a book. So this is really important that both intrinsically and extrinsically, you get clear on why you're writing this book. So both for you personally, but then also how is this going to benefit you, or how does this align with your personal goals? So there's kind of the intrinsic motivators. So I want to help people, I want to entertain people, I want to impact others, I want to do things like that. And then there's extrinsic motivators. So I want to grow my business, I want to increase my authority, I want to make more money, I want to earn royalties or passive income from my books. Get clear on why you're doing this in the first place. Once you're clear on that, we're going to move into step number two, which is choose between traditional publishing or self-publishing. Now we've got a separate video on this that walks you all through, should you self-publish, should you traditionally publish, all that good stuff. But the reality is that over 70% of all books sold are sold on Amazon. Step number three, now that you're clear on whether you're gonna traditionally publish or self-publish, it's time to write the book. Now we've got a three-step process that we teach, and this, for some people this is the scary part, for some people this is the part that they love. Maybe you love the writing and you hate the marketing, or maybe it's the other way around, but you need to write the book and write your first draft, because that's gonna be what's gonna help you actually publish the book. So definitely recommend checking out, it's a very in-depth video on how to write the book. But step number three is to write the book. Step number four, once you've got your book written, it's time to hire a great editor. Now, a great editor is gonna help you turn your draft into a finished manuscript, and really, in some cases, is what might be third grade level writing, and turn that into a finished, polished manuscript that's really a great book. So I know for me personally, I'm a C-level English student and a college dropout, so writing hasn't always been my strong suit. But here's a great thing, and this should be really encouraging for you if maybe you're in that same boat, is that a great editor can do a lot of really good work with your writing. So don't feel like you have to do all this yourself. Hire a great editor that's gonna help you take this draft and turn it into a finished manuscript. So step number five, once you've got your draft finished and your manuscript finished, now it's time to get clear on a title and a subtitle for your book. Now, most people actually mess this up. They start by getting their title first before they write the book. This is not the way that you want to do it. Because if you start with the title first, then you're going to write your way to this title, versus actually writing the book that needs to be written, right? I know this probably seems like a small difference, but it actually makes a huge difference, because if you have the title, you feel like you're boxed into the message that you have to write. Whereas if you write the book that needs to be written and then title it later, not only are you gonna write a better book, but you're also gonna come up with a better title. So a good title needs to have a couple things. It needs to be clear and it needs to be specific. So we always talk about you need to have the pain that you're solving and the benefit that your book brings. So it needs to be very specific on that. I find that most people, they get way too broad. They create a title that's how to live an epic life, fulfill your passion, and achieve your dreams, right? And I read that title and I don't know what that book's about or whether or not it's for me. So when in doubt, be more specific with your title and with your subtitle. We've got a separate post and video and all that good stuff that goes in depth on that, but be specific. And you'll notice with my book published, it's very specific. Published, the proven path from blank page to published author. So it's all about getting published. That's the benefit statement. The proven path from blank page. So when you hear blank page, you hear pain. You're staring at the blank screen, you got your hands on the keyboard, you're trying to get away from this blank page. And then when you hear published author, so the proven path from blank page to published author, again, this is a destination. You are now a published author. And then also the proven path. So that's social proof, which is another kind of fundamental principle of marketing. So proven path, you say, oh, this is proven, this is a process, therefore that will help me. And then even down to subtleties of like the period that's on published, it's like the period, like this book is finished, right? And it just feels like, a moment in time that's definitive and that's ended. So that's step number five, choose a great title and subtitle. And now step number six, get a good cover. I'm amazed at how many people will spend years writing their book and they'll spend 5 minutes and $5 on a cover. You've probably heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, but we all judge a book by its cover. So you need to have a really good cover, and your cover needs to do a couple things. I'll go back to my book here. So it needs to, number one, grab attention. So you see the red, the contrast, this grabs attention. And number two, your title needs to be in the upper third. So there's a big difference between a good looking cover and a good selling cover. A lot of designers will send you a good looking cover that won't sell well. And one of the biggest mistakes that they'll make is they don't put the actual title in the top of the cover. So it needs to be in the upper third, because natural eye path movement, this is getting like a little bit nerdy into marketing land, but natural eye path movement says I'm gonna start at the top left and then go down and right. So if you're using this real estate for an image, you're gonna miss. It's gonna be a misfire with your potential reader. So you need to have that title in the upper third. And then number three on your cover is I need to instantly understand what your book's about within 2 seconds, okay? So your title, your subtitle, your cover, they all work together, or they should work together to clearly communicate what your book's about so that your prospect knows whether or not it's for them. Step number 7, formatting and uploading your book. So now that you've got the title, you've got the cover, you've got the manuscript, it's time to design and format your book. So whether it's for Kindle, print, whether you're doing both formats, you're gonna need to do some good formatting, or really what I recommend is that you hire a great formatter to make sure that your book looks good. Step number 8, publishing your book. So this is kind of where, whether you decided to go traditionally published or self-published, this is gonna be a little bit of a different process. So if you're going traditionally published, your publisher is gonna be handling a lot of these logistics. They're gonna be charging you a premium for that, and it still might be a little bit frustrating, but they're gonna be able to handle a lot of these logistics for you. Now on the flip side, if you're choosing to self-publish, then you're gonna go through this process yourself. So we've got a separate video and a separate post all about how to self-publish your book on Amazon and on other platforms, but really you're going through that process. So you're uploading your draft, you're uploading your cover, you're doing things like that to self-publish your book. Step number 9, pricing your book to sell. So this is really important, and there's kind of some general guidelines that I'm gonna give you here. But the disclaimer here is that it really depends on the book that you're writing and the genre that you're writing in. So the general guidelines is for a Kindle book, you're gonna go between $2.99 and $9.99. And then for a print book, you're gonna go between $10.99 and $17.99. So these are kind of general guidelines. And again, this might be different whether you're traditionally publishing or self-publishing, but I'll tell you, if you are self-publishing, those are kind of the prime windows, both for book sales and book royalties. So on Amazon, you make more in royalties if you're priced between $2.99 and $9.99 on Kindle. So that's kind of the general range. And this is probably what makes sense of why you see so many books priced in that range. But really what I would encourage you to do here is to do some research. So what are other books like yours in your genre? What are they selling for? What's their price point? And I would probably match it up or choose to differentiate, right? I'm gonna either put it in line with those prices, or I'm gonna go on the lower end, or I'm gonna go on the higher end. And then the big thing here is test. So if you're self-publishing your book, the cool thing is that you can change and update those pricing and see how that affects your book sales. Step number 10, form a launch team to help with the launch of your book. Now, again, we've got a separate video and a separate post on this, but a launch team is simply a small group of people that support the launch of your book. So this could be 5 people, it could be 15 people, it could be 50 people. It's people that support you and your book, and also they're gonna leave a review when the book launches. So this is really, really important. If you just do one thing around the marketing, create a launch team, and definitely recommend that you check out that video. Step number 11, launch the book. So this is really important that you have a coordinated effort and a coordinated launch where you focus all of your efforts in on week 1. So you're doing promotions, you're getting exposure for the book, all those things, so that you not only can have a strong launch week, but also so that you're setting yourself up for success after the launch. Now we've got a separate and very detailed video on how to successfully launch your book, but really the big thing here is you just wanna make sure that you have a plan, and you're gonna make sure you have a process and focus on week 1. And then lastly, step number 12, and I think this is probably the most important step in the entire process, is to celebrate. This is the forgotten step. People, you do all this work, you write this book, you publish this book, all these things, and you just move on to the next thing. Or maybe the launch does better or worse than you expect. Either way, you need to celebrate this. By writing and publishing a book, you're part of the 1%. So we know that a New York Times study that says that 81% of people want to write a book, less than 1% of people actually do. So you've accomplished a really incredible achievement by sticking through this whole process getting it written and get it published. So you need to celebrate that. Now, whether this is with your friends, your family, whether you have a launch party, or whether you just reward yourself and go to the beach, celebrate this. I know if you're anything like me, I'm bad at celebrating wins. I just move on to the next thing. So I think it's so important that as part of this process, you're celebrating this journey and you're celebrating this accomplishment and this achievement of what you've done. So I hope you found this video helpful. We've got 2 resources that will help you with your next steps. Number 1 is you can get a free copy of my book published. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling. So you can click the link along with this video, claim your free copy, and this is gonna go kind of more in depth on the process that I just taught you. And then number 2 is we've got a free training webinar that you can sign up for. It's gonna be about 45 minutes, and this is really just gonna go more in depth on getting the book written and getting the book published. So how do you go from idea to book published in as little as 90 days? So definitely recommend checking out that video and that training, and also checking out the book. I'd love to hear from you. Comment below this video. Let me know what you liked about it. What was your number 1 takeaway, or the biggest lesson that you learned in this video? And then also, was there anything I missed? So anything that you've done that's really helped in your publishing process, comment below, let me know, and then click the subscribe button along with this video. We've got a lot of really great video content coming out, so you're gonna wanna make sure that you subscribe so that you get the notifications around those videos. Again, we've got some great videos coming your way. Click the subscribe button, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.